This is Jonathan Blansett. I'm going to be completing coding problem 1.3. All right, it appears that we need to try and find the longest alphabetical string and retain the first one if it's of equal length. All right, so the first thing we need to do is get our variables defined. All right, next we're going to need to define variables for substrings so we can hold our current and our longest. All right, so since we're dealing with a string, we'll basically have to iterate through this with a for loop and look at each individual character. We're going to use the value of the length of the string S as our range for this for loop. We'll use a len function for that. Okay, so right here, there's going to be two conditions that we want to actually look at. One is if our string is empty, then we want to add the current character to it. And also, we want to check to see if our current character is in alphabetical order. These two conditions, if either one of them occurs, then we need to add the current character to our current string. So let's get this, see here. All right, I've got that backwards. So if the current substring is empty, or if we're in alphabetical order. Right, there are two things that we need to achieve in our if statement here. One is to check for alphabetical order, and the other is to make sure that there are no current characters in the current string variable. And in order to do that, the only way I saw to do it is to check for if it is not a current substring or if there isn't anything in it. And that way we can guarantee that it was empty. And from there we can check for alphabetical by checking the current against the prior and seeing if it is greater. And so since we will be in alphabetical order here, we're going to say so. Since we're stating that it is in alphabetical order, we need to assign our current string to be equal to the current character while retaining the last character or any characters that are in there. So we'll have to use a plus equals here and then add the current character.
I wish I get my colons. I'm working on that. So. Alright.
As part of our if statement, we need to have a way to handle what comes after we're no longer in alphabetical order. So we'll put an else statement in here, and in this else statement, we need to check to see if our current string, since we're through adding characters to it, is the longest, and then we'll compare that against our longest string variable. And if it is indeed longer, then we'll just make that our current longest and go from there. What we're going to compare is the length of the strings. So we'll use the length or the len function, and we'll look at the current string and see if it is longer than the longest string. And if it is, then what we're going to do is we're going to store the current string in the longest string. So here, let me go. Okay, so now we're just checking to see if this is the longest one we found so far. So if the current string is greater than the length of the longest, string, then we're going to want to replace it with the current. All right, we're at a point where we'll have to reset the current string variable, but we'll need to reset it to the current character so that we can compare it to further characters that are still remaining in the S variable or S string variable. But in order to do this, I'll have to remain inside the for loop so that it can process it correctly. And let me make sure that I'm still inside here.
Current. So we'll have to reset the current character. So at this point we'll just Aga. Okay.
Now, in order to test it, we'll get out of the for loop. So we don't want to print every time. And we're going to display or print our results. And we'll display our longest string. All right. According to the results, I should get BEGGH. orders. Oh, there you have it. Somehow I got my indentions mixed up and it wasn't executing one of my statements. So the other condition is that if it is A, B, C, B, C, D, and if that's the case, it retains, it should, because it would have to be greater. So let's see, A, B, C, B, C, D. See if she works. Oh wow, yeah, it does. Okay. So there you have it. Indentions are key. Make sure you pay attention to those. Lesson learned. Until next time.